Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, How to Voice Radio. So today, I am bringing you a very, very special video. This is my first video that was requested by a $50 Patreon. Now, if you want to support the channel, as I say in all of my videos, you can do so at patreon.com/PTCGRadio. David Van Dyke is a lovely man who did just that. And as he is on the higher tier of Patreon, he gets to request a video. He had a wonderful idea that I should talk about my favourite artwork in the Pokémon trading card game. I thought that was a brilliant idea, and I thank him very much for it. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. There's too many cards. There's too many Pokemon cards. So, what I decided to do instead was just take one block, and I'm starting with the HeartGold SoulSilver block, but I'm willing to do the other blocks if these videos are popular enough, or if David or anyone else on the appropriate Patreon tier tells me to. I'm going to start with HeartGold SoulSilver. And like I say, might do more in the future. So, I'm going to give you my favourite 6 or 7 cards art-wise from each HeartGold SoulSilver set. And then at the end, I am going to show you the prettiest card from the HeartGold SoulSilver block. I'm going to give you a definitive answer. And the wonderful thing is that in the HeartGold SoulSilver block, there is one card that stands above all others. So, starting off with the HeartGold SoulSilver base set, let's start off looking at Ninetales. I adore this Ninetales card, ladies and gentlemen. I think it is absolutely beautiful. There's something about it with the fire and the fire stone. That's something they started doing in the HeartGold SoulSilver sets. When there are one of these stones that gets used, they tend to feature in the card art, which is pretty funky. Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm also a huge fan of and weirdly it's the following number in the set, Noctowl. Just, I don't know, the water, the moon, the owl, the fact that he's looking so pensive, I love it. And of course, you probably shouldn't be surprised to know that Phanpy comes next. I love this Phanpy, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I love Phanpy generally, to be perfectly honest. You know, Phanpy, he's a pre-evolution of Donphan. Donphan is my boy. But, and the Donphan regular card in this set is not the prettiest card ever. But Phanpy, ladies and gentlemen, look at him. Just look at his little face. Now things get a bit shinier from here on out. It shouldn't surprise any of you to know that Donphan Prime is clearly going into my prettiest cards from HeartGold SoulSilver. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, all of the legends are making it in. The legends in HeartGold SoulSilver were Ho-Oh and Lugia. For those that weren't playing back then, these were cards where you would have to draw both halves and then play both halves down as one card. You could only play it if you had both halves in your hand at the same time. They were lovely, and the painted kind of art style in HeartGold SoulSilver really was a thing of absolute beauty. Quick shout out to the energy cards in HeartGold SoulSilver. I'm a fan of the dark one with Umbreon. Some people really love these energies. They're not on my list, but they're pretty cool. Moving into Unleashed, which was the second of 5 sets in HeartGold SoulSilver, we can look at Shaymin. And Shaymin is the only kind of non-secret rare card that does make my list here. And I don't know exactly what it is about the Shaymin in this set that makes me so gosh darned happy. But I suppose, and this is a little bit of an obvious thing to say, it's just beautiful. I love the artwork. I love the background, I love the shininess, I love that there's a random Eevee standing there for no particular reason. Now, you saw with Donphan Prime a minute ago, you're going to see here, all of the Primes had very similar artwork. So it is difficult for me to pick out the best ones. But I think Ursaring Prime really does stand there as one of the better Primes artwork-wise. Although, personally, I'm also chucking Steelix into this set. Steelix just looks like he's going to get you. He looks like a bad Pokemon in a good way, if that makes any sense, looking at this particular artwork. And then we get to the legends. The legends in Unleashed were all based around the legendary beasts. So we've got Entei Raikou legend, we've got Raikou Suicune legend, And we've got Suicune Entei Legend. They don't look quite as painty and lovely as the ones did in HeartGold SoulSilver Base, but ladies and gentlemen, they still beautiful. Moving on into Undaunted, the third of the HeartGold SoulSilver sets, we start off with Sizzle. And I don't think I need to say much about Sizzle, ladies and gentlemen. It's just wonderful. I'm not a huge Sizzle fan personally. He's not one of my favourite Pokemon. But the silhouette against the moon at night, it's just everything about that card just screams, oh my god, look how beautiful it is. And then keeping that theme going, look how great the Cypher card was in this set. Don't know what the explosion fire behind it is, don't care. Sizzle and Cypher, in this particular set, for some reason there was an art department that went, we need this, ladies and gentlemen. We need this. And I like the Eevee in this set. Just something about this Eevee. Now you'll notice the artwork is very similar to the Shaymin, and there is a random Pokemon in the back again. Maybe I'm just a sucker for this kind of artwork. Maybe. Either way, go him. Now there are a couple of primes that make my list from Undaunted. Umbreon's my favourite evolution. Of course he was going to make the list. And Slowking. There's something weird about Slowking just standing there holding a half-eaten apple, which confuses and delights me. I'm not a huge Slowking fan, but he is one of my favourite primes artwork-wise. And then we get to the legends. Rayquaza Deoxys Legend is pretty, but there is a clear winner for the legend cards here, ladies and gentlemen. It's Kyogre Groudon Legend. The artwork is stunningly, wonderfully brilliant. And then we get to Triumphant. Now, there's a little side note we need to give here. In Japan, there was a set called Lost Link. This was the set that introduced the Lost Zone. The Lost Zone was like a second discard pile where you couldn't recover cards from. And in the Lost Link set, an awful lot of the cards had artwork which involved the Lost Zone, i.e. you'd see like a black hole in the artwork. And it all had a very similar style. And I'm going to be honest, you're going to see this in Triumphant and in the next set, because Lost Link was split over 2 sets over here. These may have been, and probably were, my favourite cards in terms of one set ever. If there was one set I could pick, it would be Lost Link, but it was split over 2 sets in, US, Europe, etc. So that's why you're going to see a lot of these cards looking a bit similar. But we're going to start off, ladies and gentlemen, with Altaria. Again, not a card I've ever been particularly fond of. I'm not a huge Altaria fan, but I tell you what, I just love this particular Altaria card. It's got a sense of whimsy in it, ladies and gentlemen. It's just kind of having a fly around, and there's an island there, and maybe he's going to visit the island, maybe he's not going to visit the island. We don't know. Either way, I love it. Clearly, Mamoswine's going in this list. Any Mamoswine card instantly becomes more beautiful than any non-Mamoswine card. This is not my favourite Mamoswine artwork. I do love the one from Breakthrough. Might be my favourite, but it doesn't matter. It's still Mamoswine. And shout out to Swinub here. Swinub is also a very good looking card. Now, my first card from this set that came from Lost Link, Dugtrio. You can see it's all going a bit wrong. Maybe there's a black hole. Everything's certainly swirling towards what appears to be some kind of vortex just out of shot. It's wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. And then let's carry on this theme, because look at both Gengar Prime and Magnezone Prime. You'll notice similar kind of artwork. Magnezone has got that vortex in the background. Gengar's a cool Pokemon. Everyone loves Gengar, but this may be my favourite looking Gengar card ever. He's got that mischievous streak going on. And then, of course, Magnezone. He just looks cool. And in terms of the legends, now one of these was actually from Lost Link. That was Darkrai Cresselia. And then we also had Palkia and Dialga Legend. And the final set in the HeartGold SoulSilver block was Call of Legends. Call of Legends was loved by some, hated by others. Call of Legends was largely a reprint set. There was a whole bunch of reprints. but it also finished off the Lost Link. So I'm going to be honest with you, most of these cards I like from this set were Lost Link cards. Starting off with Pachirisu, another one of those vortexes in the background. Look how delightfully happy Pachirisu looks. Look at his beautiful happy face and tell me it doesn't fill you with joy. If you say that, I might be inclined to call you a liar. I'm also a big fan of Lucario in this set. Again, we've got the whole Vortex thing going on in that artwork. I am a huge fan of Snorlax here. Again, note the Vortex. Snorlax may be one of my very, very favourite cards in the whole HeartGold SoulSilver blocks. I'm going to be honest, Tangrowth isn't on my list, but I want to give a shout out because it's gorgeous. I love Zangoose, and I'm hoping you're starting to see a pattern with the Lost Link artwork here, ladies and gentlemen. 3D and Vortex and serious and a little bit dark. I'm going to be honest, as I'm recording this now, I kind of think I need to go and find an old booster box, Japanese booster box of Lost Link, because that would be amazing. There is one non-Lost Link card that I do like from this set, and that is Fampi. Look how beautiful he looks. And as a fun side note, there was a typo on this card in some versions of it, which actually spelt it Fanfi with an extra H. Nice little bit of history for you there. And finishing off, and I loved this card so much at the time, I literally had like 6 binder pages full of it. Relicanth. I don't like Relicanth as a Pokemon. I don't think Relicanth is a cool looking Pokemon. This is another one of those Lost Link cards, but I tell you what, this is one of my very, very favourite cards ever printed. It is beautiful. And the fact that it's a common meant that it was easy to get many of them. Finishing off the secret rare, the special cards in this set were Shining Pokemon, my favourite of which was this Shining Ho-Oh. Yeah. It's cool. I wasn't a huge fan of the Shining cards. They were also really hard to get because the set didn't sell terribly well. And there's like a dozen of them. And yeah, there's actually 11. So there's 11 of these Shining Pokemon and the set didn't sell too well. And it was like one a box and it was really difficult to collect all of them. Although the value never got high because they were all horrifically unplayable. My favourite artwork of card from the entire HeartGold SoulSilver block, have you guessed it yet? It's Sizzle. Sizzle from Undaunted. I don't think there's any card in the HeartGold SoulSilver block that has artwork as cool as this. But if you disagree, comment section, ladies and gentlemen. If ever a video needed a comment section, it's this one. Firstly, tell me if you want more of these kind of videos looking at artwork. And secondly, tell me your single favourite card, your one card that you like above all others in terms of artwork from the HeartGold SoulSilver block. Go nuts! Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWossy, and Twitch at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, you can do so at patreon.com/PTCGRadio. And like I've said, if you get into the right tier, you can demand I make a video in the future. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.